Hello everyone and welcome to ASA 101, where we go over things that experienced players take for granted, but I see so many newer players struggling with, and I want to help you get the most out of your new dinosaur adventures. I'm Mantikai, and I hope you find this video super useful. If so, feel free to hit that subscribe button and come say hi when we're live on Twitch anytime. Today, we're going to take a look at one of the most common and confusing aspects of Ark that I see pop up all the time in chat groups, Discords, live streams, and that is settings. Whether you're playing single player, you're renting a server, you're hosting a server, unless you are playing official servers, you have the capacity to fully customize the Ark to your specific needs. When you come into Ark and you create a game, you have the ability to go through and select specific things that will change the game to your style. Some of the key things that you're going to want to take a look at: the rate at which you gain experience, the rate at which you tame dinosaurs, how much you yield from gathering resources, what is the difficulty level of the map, and therefore what is the maximum level of the tames that you can achieve. Under advanced settings, this gets into even more details. Some important things that you can change in here. Things like your tamed dino stats per level, your player stats per level. What a lot of people don't seem to realize is that tamed dinos per level get significantly less damage and health than any other stat. If you were to change these to 1 instead of 0.14, your dinos would be significantly stronger. It would make the game less challenging, but if your goal isn't to be challenged but to just enjoy the story and living with your dinos, you can up this and make the game much more user-friendly for you. Something to keep in mind with this, however, is that nothing happens in isolation. Everything you change can and will have an effect on things around it. Something like your spoil time over here. It just seems like a great idea to change the spoil timer so that your resources aren't spoiling, but when you're first new on a server, getting spoiled meat is absolutely integral to being able to get narcotic, which is integral to knocking out dinosaurs and getting tames. So if you have your spoil timer so high that you can't get that, it's going to have a negative knock-on impact. Breeding babies, it seems like a great idea to do this faster, but if you increase your baby mature speed so that it happens much quicker than official, and you don't change your cuddle interval, you won't be able to get that imprint, which gives such a significant buff to your dinos. So I'm not going to go into each and every single code, but be aware and do a little bit of research before you start making drastic changes. While this is a great interface here, if you want to go into even greater details, and you probably see in some chat groups, people refer to the INI file. You can find your INI file right here. You go to whatever drive that you have your Steam games stored in: Steam, Steam apps, Common, Ark, Shooter Game, Saved, Config, Windows, if you followed all of that. And then right here you have Game User Settings. When I open this, you can see the detailed breakdown of all of the settings that I have just saved in that single player game. You want to be very careful about editing any of these codes unless you know exactly what you're talking about. If there's something specific that you want to edit and you're not sure, I would recommend looking this up on Google, or you can post a question underneath this video and I will try and help you out. If you are hosting and running a server, whether you're renting one or running it from home, what you will often see is an interface that looks more like this. Currently, Nitrado is the main provider of ASA servers, and we're not here to discuss that particular thing, but just showing you where you can find these settings. They do have a dashboard that actually has less functionality than the single player changes that you can make that we just went through. But what you can do is come down to this config file setting here, and you have both the game INI and the game user settings. So if I went to my game user settings, I could set everything that I wanted from my single player game using those single player setting options that we just saw, copy and paste everything in this file and put it in here, and my server would have the same settings that I'd set for single player. I can then go to my game INI and change additional things like my baby growth rates, my stacking rates, and much more. I'm not going to go through every single code here today, but what I wanted to show you is where you're able to find these codes, how much effect you can have on your server or your single player environment, and how to adjust these things so that you get the most enjoyment out of your Ark adventure. Again, I hope you found this super useful. I wanted to keep it short and punchy, but if you do have additional questions or there's other aspects of Ark that you would like to learn about in this 101 series, please post below and I'll make sure to record something and help you out. Enjoy your adventures, survivors.